Bum, bum, bum. So, just in case you can't get enough of me today, there's new breaking news that I think I can put some context on that will help you out. So I'm just going to do a quick little topic on the coroner's report, the autopsy report on George Floyd. First of all, the president alert on my phone. So we've got a curfew here tonight. So the president is going to send in the military if necessary, and they're going to dominate the streets, as they say. So tonight it could be interesting. But here's what we found out today. The autopsy says that George Floyd was intoxicated with fentanyl. Fentanyl. Now, when I saw the video of the tragic death of George Floyd, I'm going to tell you something I haven't said in public. I thought it was a fentanyl overdose. That was actually the first thing I thought when I saw it. And the reason I thought that is that his lights just sort of went out. And there's a very important thing you need to know about fentanyl. And this will explain pretty much everything. Well, two things you need to know. One is that you saw the police seem to be fighting with him in the back seat of the car, and he was acting irrationally. People on fentanyl can act pretty irrationally. So he wasn't really in his right mind, so he probably had to be physically restrained because there probably wasn't any amount of talking to him that would have helped. If you've ever dealt with somebody who's really, stoned on fentanyl, you can't really reason with them. That's not a thing. You have to actually physically control them. Physically, every part of it, you have to physically control them. Unfortunately, I've been in this situation. So there's nothing like talking to them that can work. Nothing. It's just like there's a wild animal and you're trying to control it, like a lion or something. There's no human conversation that will do anything for you under those conditions. Now, even though he was talking and saying things that made sense, that doesn't mean that he would have listened to things that made sense. It's very different. Here's the other thing you need to know, and this is something I learned when I found out about fentanyl deaths, that if you're an experienced fentanyl user, you know how to sit in a chair in case you pass out. Because if you pass out and your head falls forward like this, you will die. Because the fentanyl knocks you out, and falling forward, if you do it wrong, will close off your breathing. And unlike a person who is drunk or on other drugs, you won't wake up. So you'll cut off your own breathing by being in the wrong position, and you'll just die because you won't wake up on fentanyl. So I understand that the experienced users will find a place that they're leaning back, so if they pass out, their airways will be open. And if you were in the right position, your odds of dying from fentanyl actually go way down. Now, on top of the fentanyl, there were 3 cops on him, and one was on his neck. Now, the thing that never quite made sense is that it just didn't seem like the cop was aware that he was killing him. That never really made sense, did it? And that would make sense if the cops knew he was intoxicated on something bad. They obviously knew that. But he wouldn't have known that pressure, here I'm speculating a little bit, he wouldn't have known what kind of pressure would kill somebody if they were on fentanyl. So if, for example, he passed out from the fentanyl and the cop kept his knee on him, that could have easily killed him. Because there wouldn't have been any instinct or just natural reflex to try to get air. So when George Floyd was fighting for air and complaining, he was probably fine. But the moment he passed out, which probably was the fentanyl, then he could no longer control whether his neck was open or closed, and that might have been it. Now, this is just speculation. It's not medical. I'm not a medical doctor. The only thing I'm adding to the conversation is that the position of the neck plus fentanyl is deadly. If you didn't know that that fentanyl kills you largely because the position of your neck, then that would be confusing. So when I watched it, it did look like he OD'd, and that was actually my first thought. But I didn't want to say that out of respect, obviously. But now that we have confirmation it was in his system, along with some meth, apparently. Somebody says if you can talk, you can breathe. That's correct. So when he was talking, he had not yet lost control of his breathing. So what does this mean? Now, one thing it means is that there will be people who say the fentanyl killed him and therefore not the cops. We'll never know that, because the most likely scenario is that it was a combination. But here's the problem. If there was much fentanyl in the system, and I don't know how much, but enough, if there was enough, he's going to get off. So the cop he's going to get off. Because all the defense has to do is say, how do you know it wasn't the fentanyl by itself? Right? That's the end of the story. Chinese fentanyl killed 50,000 people this year in the United States alone, and every one of them died exactly the way George Floyd did, with or without a knee. They died the exact same way, with or without anybody's knee on them. So the defense is just going to say there was fentanyl in him, and that was it. That's it. That's the end of the case. So that doesn't mean that he is innocent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that from a legal perspective, in terms of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, not a chance. Yeah, if he really had any, I suppose if the fentanyl in him was some trace amount, it's going to matter how much there was. But if it was some trace amount, maybe they can say it didn't matter. But if there's a good amount, like he just had some, that's it. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that little update. So we should follow the news about necks. Somebody says meth as well, would have the same problem. But follow the news about neck position and fentanyl, and you're going to learn something. That's all for now.